What is up? It's CVV, Chris Van Vliet, and you are watching GorillaPress with your host, B Is. And you know what to do. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell.
Welcome to GorillaPress. I'm Rob, CEO of GorillaPress. We've got a special guest for you. It's Halloween. So, no tricks, just treats. We've got from all over the world, hailing from Russia, Mother Russia. We've got the Russian Dynamite Masha Slamovich. Hello.
Good evening or good morning.
Well, it's evening where you are. You're in Tokyo, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about how you ended up heading towards your professional wrestling career, because it's quite the unique story, and I want you to be able to let everyone know. I have quite a few viewers who are saying, "Oh, this is great that you've got independent talent and outside mainstream talent coming here onto your show. Keep it up." So what I decided to do was, for Halloween, not trick anyone, but treat everyone with your presence. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you go ahead and let everyone know how you got into it, because it's quite a unique story, and I think everyone should know.
Well, in regards to me coming here this time around, I took part in a tryout in, I think it was August or September of 2019. And I really had no idea the results of said tryout probably until December of 2019. So, after I found out, we began the paperwork process to bring me over here. I arrived here on January 25th and month tour. But after being offered to stay here longer to continue work and train, I accepted the offer, and then coronavirus happened. So I did not have much of a choice of staying or leaving, but it was kind of a blessing in disguise because there's no other place that I would rather, have like quote unquote gotten stuck in. This is the best place to learn and work and live, really.
I can attest to that. I mean, not personally, but judging from several professional wrestlers' careers, Japan is actually where they cemented their names and began to take off abroad. So I commend you for that, because I haven't only followed you in Japan, followed you here in the States prior to your departure. Um, I want to talk a little bit about how you got into the business before we get into what your amateur career was like. I understand you began training at 16 years old.
That is correct.
Now tell us about that. How did that end up coming to fruition? Because that's a bit young.
Basically, I had wanted to be a professional wrestler my entire life. That's not an exaggeration. I was probably like 4 years old, maybe a little younger or something like that. Uh, and I decided that I wanted to be a wrestler after I saw it on TV. But obviously, I was too young to start training at that age. So I decided to partake in as many sports as possible to get me ready for training one day. And when I was 16, I decided that, now is the time. I'm not getting any younger. So I badgered my mother to come down to Johnny Rod's gym with me because me being under the age of 18, he wouldn't have any discussions with me without a parent present. So, we came down there and we had the good old 5-hour conversation about wrestling and expectations and all that good stuff. And I pretty much started the next day I signed up. And on November 22nd of 2014 is the day that I started wrestling. And I pretty much trained anywhere from 4 to 7 days a week, somewhat of like 6 hours a day for 2 years, basically, until I had my debut, until I had my tryout match, and then I left to Japan.
Oh, you went straight to Japan. That's amazing. That's quite the leap.
That was my first tour here in 2016. Yes, that was my pro wrestling debut with Reina Pro Wrestling.
Was that November 22nd?
No, that was, I want to say, July 8th of 2016.
Okay.
Yes, that sounds about right.
So tell us about what it's like working with someone like Jody Threat, because I've witnessed a few matches where you and her partake in quite the exchange. Now, there was this one match. It was quite aggressive. I can't remember who it was for. It was quite some time ago, and it was very aggressive. And I thought I saw her give you like a stiff elbow in one of those, and then she followed up with a double knee into the small of your back, and you like bent in ways I've never seen. And I was like, oh man, these two are going at it. And the way you perform is quite stern, stiff. I'll just stay with the word stiff.
Well, Jody is definitely one of my favorite people to get in the ring with. First of all, because she can take it and then she can give it right back to you. You know, she's not somebody, like you said, who's gonna take an elbow and complain. She'll just give it right back to you. So she's like me. She's a hard hitter. She's a brawler. She can go in there. She got that redhead, fiery side to her. So I look forward to wrestling her again upon my return to North America. But I believe the match you're talking about took place for Limitless Wrestling, I want to say.
Yeah, there it is.
And
that's it.
You know,
that's it.
That was a very good match. I had a great time. That was a good weekend of wrestling in general. And I can't say enough good about Jody Threat. She's out there doing her thing. I've seen her working at the Collective right now, and I can't wait to get back in the ring with her.
I mean, I'm sure she can't wait to get back in the ring with you. You made quite the name for yourself. I mean, your name is still circulating in the States, even with your departure. There was another match that you've had. It was with Alley Cat, Jody Threat, Ashley Vox, and Skylar. It was one of the most chaotic matches I've seen. You took quite a few bumps in that. And see, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because Alley Cat, which I believe goes by Alligato now, is going to be at Mission Pro Wrestling at Tournament Out of Hell November 6th. That being said, she's a big gal, and working with her could have its difficult moments. I mean, you are quite the bodybuilder, I see. You are you're avid in the gym, you work out, you take no shit. So what's it like working with people much bigger than you, much like your intergender matches and things like that? Because I know those can be quite the challenge, although you've pulled out all the stops either way.
Well, working with Alley Cat, again, I only got the chance to work with her in that 5-person scramble match, or however it's called, at wrestling. I wish, and I wouldn't say I wish, I would say I hope in the future I get to work more with Alley Cat and we get to go one-on-one, because I've seen some of her work, and she's as a wrestler and as a person, she's spicy, if that's the word we'll go with. So I think we would have a good time kicking the shit out of each other in a ring. And I'm sure we'd both enjoy it, and I'm sure the fans would enjoy it as well. So somebody call GCW. That's all I got to say about that.
GCW. If you
cat or any woman or man is bigger than me, my looks may be deceiving. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna pick you up and toss you across the ring.
I believe that wholeheartedly. There was a match that you were in. I can't remember where it was. It was Roxy versus. It was you. It was an intergender tag match. It was you and another gentleman, which slips my mind because that was quite a while ago in my research on you. He slips my mind. And then you were facing Roxy and then another gentleman who was like huge, and he chopped you clean across the chest and then turned around to give you like a forearm, and you I guess you kicked him in the throat, and then you gave him a DDT off the top rope. And I was like, this is amazing. And you could see the fans like right behind you guys going ape shit.
There's quite literally a picture of my foot making contacts with that man's throat. I love that picture.
I gotta see that. You gotta send that to me. I wanna add that in here. So that being said, you wanting to work with Alley Cat, we're gonna be going to Tournament Out of Hell November 6th. She's gonna be there. I'm gonna mention you quite a few times. So I want to talk about the Nickel City wrestling match that you had. It was for the Women's Championship prior to your departure from the United States, North America, to go to Tokyo. It was Masha Slamovich versus Megan Myers. If you have not seen this, to the viewers, Nickel City Wrestling, I'm sorry, my dog. Nickel City, tries to make a cameo in every video apparently now. Nickel City Wrestling for the Women's Championship match. It was an I Quit match. Masha versus Megan Myers. You did a maneuver in there within the first 5 minutes that was a Texas cloverleaf with like the walls of Jericho. It was like a verge. It was like a twist between the two, a twisted marriage, if you want to say. It was gorgeous. What do you call that?
Well, I'm glad you asked because I call that the Cloverleaf Lion Tamer. And I have used that as a finish here. I believe it was wrestling Shindo Mikoto in one of the Marvelous matches.
I'm glad that I did ask that because I was actually looking for a way to ask you about this, and I was like making up my own names for it. So I'm like, I've got Lion Tamer and Cloverleaf there, and I'm trying all types of iterations of it, and I came up with the Kremlin walls.
You know what? Hold that thought because I love that.
You can
I
have
might
it.
steal that.
You can have it. You heard it here first. Her finisher, the Kremlin walls.
Y'all heard it here first. I'm shit at coming up with new names, and here we go. So that's splendid.
If I hear that on TV somewhere, I'm gonna lose my shit, and I'm just gonna be so proud. Tell us about that match, because that was within the first 5 minutes, and there were window shutters and all types of things involved in that match. Tell us about it.
Well, that was I believe that was the third or fourth or fifth or something like that time that me and Megan Myers had wrestled. My memory's awful, so that clearly evades me. But we had all types of matches. We had a coffin match the month prior to this, and I had beaten her in every other match. So we had this idea for an I Quit match. And to be honest with you, how it went was I pretty much saw her in the back and I shook her hand and I was like, all right, I'll see you out there. And I walked out of the curtain, and that's pretty much how the match took place. Because, you know, there's what is there to an I Quit match? You're gonna kick the shit out of each other. And that's exactly what we did. We went out there, we beat the shit out of each other, we destroyed that entire ring. And pretty much the only thing I remember from that match is just the fans going ape shit for all of like 12 minutes or however long that match was. It is actually one of my favorite matches, like hardcore style that I've done, because I had so much fun just going out there and us just creating art on the fly. And what made me laugh was when the match was over and, you know, we were like packing up to go home. Megan tells me, she's like, yeah, my mother was in the front row. And I'm like, well, I bet your mother had a great time watching that.
You can see welts develop on your ribs throughout the match, like after she hit you with like the window shutters, and you could see them bright red. That looked like, I mean, it's kind of dumb to ask, did it hurt? But how much, like, of that did, like, really stuck with you
Well,
for the days
the
after?
that actually came from my leather belt, which I decided, in a minute, I have this leather belt on, so I'm gonna take it off and I'm gonna whip her with it. And then she starts whipping me with it, and then I'm just sitting there. I'm like, ha, that was a mistake. And on the bus ride going back from Buffalo to New York, you know, I'm covered in the that shit that's on the ceiling, that's on the tiles, like whatever that
Yeah,
crap is. That
like fiber or whatever, ceiling tiles.
But I'm covered in that shit. I got welts all over my body, and I'm just sitting on the bus. I'm like, fuck. Like doing the match is so much fun. You know, you got the adrenaline running. It's a great time, and then hours passes, and you're like, I fucking hate my life.
When I saw her, when I saw that come into the ring, I was like, no way. I thought it was like a square of sheetrock for a second. And I was like, no way. They brought sheetrock into this thing. That better not be like an inch thick sheetrock. And then she picked it up over her head, and I'm like, oh, okay, I know what that is. And then boom, and I'm like, oh, okay, that went south fast. And the several times and then you picked it up and like baseball swung it at her face, like baseball bat swung it at her face. That was gold. I think if the viewers are watching, Nickel City Wrestling's I Quit match between Masha Slamovich and Megan Myers is pure indie gold. Go check that out. What do you have going on now in Japan? Have you been back to Marvelous? What are your plans going forward? I mean, I know you're looking forward to coming back to the US, but is that something, if let's say COVID was over tomorrow, which will never happen, but let's just say it was over tomorrow like that, how fast would you be dying to come back to the US, or would you like to continue a little more of your run in Tokyo?
As of my current plans, you know, even if tomorrow the world, like COVID was gone and they were like, you know, everything's back to normal, I would not leave here until at least the end of January or February of 2021, because, you know, I've got stuff lined up here between Marvelous, Sentai Girls, the Assemble show coming up on the 20th of November. You know, more things with Marvelous and more things that have not even been discussed that I guarantee you will come up within, you know, the next couple months that even I don't know about, because sometimes things are just a surprise here to me as well. So I don't plan. I have no plans and no plane ticket to go home. I came here on a one-way ticket, thank God. You know, it going back to the United States, I have no rush to do that whatsoever, because first of all, there's nothing to rush home to right now. And second of all, you know, when the time is right and I come back, it's all about timing. It's all about not just me getting on a plane tomorrow and coming back to the States. It's about me making phone calls and writing people. I want to come back to a full schedule. I want to come back to shows every weekend. I want to get off the plane and go to a venue that day if possible. You know, I'm not just going to go home and sit on my ass. I've been working here, and there's no way that I'm going to let that momentum slip. If it means staying here for 10 years, then I guess I'll see America in 2030. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, I like what you got going in Tokyo. I mean, you really are. I mean, you're familiar with it, so it's not something too far of a stretch for you to handle, and it's something that you seem 100% comfortable with, and that you absolutely love, which is good to see for any talent doing anything that they're into at the moment, which is hard to say for a lot of talent in the United States right now. So I'm very happy to see that you were able to make something happen amidst this while being in Tokyo. Um, that being said, what is the audience reception for you in Tokyo? Are you were you initially uh, reciprocated well by all of the other talent in the locker room, and were the fans excited to see you, or were they, are you face or heel in their eyes?
When I got here, everybody in Marvelous were and continue to be the nicest and most accommodating people anywhere ever. You know, the second I walked in here, everybody has always been helpful. Everyone has always been ready to teach, ready to listen, learn. You know, everybody here is like a family. We all help each other. So I've always been really thankful for that, and for everybody at Marvelous, between the roster, the office, everybody. The fans, the fans have, from my opinion, been more used to women in general, and especially Gaijin women being more peppy or cute, or, you know, more baby face, more happy. Since day one, I've never been like that here. I've been an absolute heel, the biggest dickhead that I'm allowed to be in that ring.
Mhm.
And the fans embrace it because, you know, they've been seeing me be an asshole and beat the crap out of people for the longest time here. And then we did a match on September 11th with my friend Mio. And after the match, you know, I snatched her up, like looking like I was going to attack her. And then I shook her hand and I hugged her. And the fans went ape shit because which is totally not expecting that. So that just shows how much that I have built my heel persona.
Persona.
And then
Hmm.
do something nice was just like the most mind blowing shit they've ever seen. So that topped me hard. Clearly, that topped them hard, obviously. But I enjoy being a heel. It's quite different in the Joshi world because everyone is more, you know, friendly and smiling and happy. Like I said, I'm the complete opposite of that, and I enjoy doing that very much everywhere I go.
You look good as a heel. I mean, there were the one match where you came in, the New Age wrestling match against Christina. Well, you were with Christina. What is it? Christina Maria, Christina Murphy. Uh,
Christina Marie.
yes, you were with her and facing two gentlemen. One was like a caveman guy. I forget his name.
I
And
think his
that
name is Kate.
Okay, well, if that's his name, it suits him well. You go in there in these intergender matches and you put on a show. I mean, it's been done before, other people do it, but at your stature, with your build, especially your build, because you look like a huge girl for 5'3", like, shoulder wise, all of that, like,
Thank you.
it's very believable to me as a viewer, sitting anywhere in the audience or at home on the screen, through a computer, television, whatever, that you are fully capable of taking on these guys. And the suplexes you do, the stand-up suplexes, ridiculous. Tell us a lot about what goes into your training and how you're able to just integrate all of your styles into what you do, because that's another quote that came from you at a what I'm leading to up next.
Well, you know, like you said, that my build is what makes it believable that I go in there with people twice my size and I put on a match. Things being done in a believable fashion is very important to me not only for me, but just in general for wrestling. So first of all, training at Johnny Rod's, I was trained almost exclusively by men, and they were 2 or 3 times bigger than me. So I was taught to wrestle them and be able to wrestle with anybody because, I remember there was like this 300-pound dude, and he pinned me and he put all his weight on me. And he was like, if you can kick out from underneath of me, you can kick out from under anybody. And that was the way that I was trained, and that's the way that I wrestle, with power, because A, I had to, and B, I enjoy it. I always go in there and I want to be the best and put on the best matches that I can. It's also most likely attributed to me being, slightly with Napoleon complex, where I'm the small person, but I have to be the strongest person in the room. I take that energy to the ring with me. And in regards to my training, like you said, staying in such a shape where it's believable for me to be out here suplexing people. I power lift a lot. I work out every day, several times a day. I love CrossFit. I've been partaking in CrossFit for maybe like 7 years now. And I enjoy doing power lift. I enjoy bench pressing. I enjoy squatting, deadlifting, all that stuff. The more muscle I can build, the better. I intend to build and put on even more muscle. So keep on watching the physical growth of Masha Slamovich.
We will. I mean, hopefully, one day you can make it all the way back into Mission Pro with Thunder Rosa and her girls. I'd love to see that happen. Let me get into leading out of that into the good segue from quoting you. I'd like to quote something you said. I'm not sure your goals have changed much, because so far you seem to be on the path of your original goals, which is what I derive from this quote here. My goal is to continue to travel the world, to wrestle and see beautiful places that I have never gotten to see without wrestling. I want to make a living doing what I love, what I was put on this earth to do, and to be remembered when I'm gone. I also hope to wrestle for the NWA in the near future. And some of your dream opponents would be in no particular order. I'm going to throw in Thunder Rosa because I know we spoke about that recently. Shayna Baszler, Chris Dickinson, Takumi Aroa, Sammy Callahan, Tessa Blanchard, Natalia Bay Priestley, Michael Satomura, Tony Storm, and your current trainer at the time, which was Amazing Red. How much of your goals have changed? And if not, tell me more about this NWA endeavor, because I totally see you fitting there.
Speaking about the goals, that has not changed, whatsoever, because what you had just quoted me on is still exactly what I want to do. It was actually great to hear that quote read back to me, because I feel like I wrote that a long time ago, but it still holds very true. I'm also glad to hear the list of my opponents that I had wanted to wrestle, because I got to check off wrestling Takumi Iroha earlier this year. I've yet to wrestle Miiko Satomura, but we did end up tag teaming together, so that was really cool. As for the NWA, I still 100% hope to get the chance to work with NWA upon my return to the United States, simply because, the NWA holds such a rich history of wrestling. If you look back on the matches that have been had, the champions, the prestige of the actual championships, it's absolutely beautiful to me. And I hope to one day take part in, becoming part of the history of NWA, because that would mean so much to me, because I'm a true fan of professional wrestling, and I respect it so much. I've watched NWA so much, and I just think that history is really beautiful, and to hopefully one day be able to be part of it would definitely be a dream come true for me.
I think that's very likely, and I commend you for still having that goal. I mean, I'm sure there might have been maybe another one or two you added to that, like main eventing at WrestleMania, or a stardom of. It'd be great if you could be one of the very few women that are gracious enough to grace that stage. Um,
That is 100% another goal of mine, to one day be able to work either with Pro Wrestling Noah or with New Japan Pro Wrestling. You know, like you said yourself just now, to be one of the few women who would grace the Wrestle Kingdom ring, or to hopefully one day be the first woman to ever work in Pro Wrestling Noah. 100% also very, very much up there on the list of my goals in my career.
I could totally see that happening, especially with the new management there. So tell us about anything that you've got going on for Halloween, because I know you are a horror buff.
I am a horror buff, and unfortunately, you know, Halloween is what, tomorrow? Literally an hour from now.
For you.
Unfortunately, now that you say that, I might go hit up Tokyo and see what's going on for Halloween, because I have no plans right now, and that's a damn shame. Which means I have a couple of hours to make some plans happen for myself.
For
Uh,
tomorrow, for you, well, for a couple hours, what, eight
yeah,
hours for you? Because, ladies and gentlemen, she's living in the future. She's in Tokyo. It is 10:04 a.m. here. It is about 11 something p.m. there on October 30th.
yes. So Halloween is right around the corner. You know, I'm gonna kick it off. When we're done here, I'm going to watch a horror movie. I haven't decided which one, but I'm gonna watch one or two or seven. Um, and then hopefully tomorrow I'm gonna figure out some kind of plans to do for Halloween. If not, I'm still gonna do a little bit of a photo shoot with the original makeup that I was gonna wear to the show, but then I ended up being a Chinese vampire.
Jiang
But
Feng.
internet needs content, and I'm going to provide said content. So I have no idea what I'm going to do for Halloween, but we're going to make a day out of it. Thanks for saying that.
I mean,
That's
you're wearing the
under my
right
ass.
color too.
I love the color orange. It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Very festive, especially for Halloween. We're gonna try something ourselves. We're probably gonna have like a movie thon or something. I'm not sure if we're gonna air it. We can't air it, but maybe we'll suggest some things for you to watch and come back and talk about it here for all the viewers. If you want to tell everyone where to follow you, you can do that right now.
Everybody can follow me on Instagram at Masha Slamovich, and on Twitter also at Masha Slamovich. Instagram is where all the good daily content is. Twitter is where I shit on everything and I hate life, and it has all my recent match pictures. And I'm also on prowrestlingtees.com/Masha Slamovich with my t-shirts. And if you're looking for any 8x10s or pins or whatever, you can direct message me on Instagram or Twitter. So again, t-shirts at prowrestlingtees.com. Everything else at my DMs at Masha Slamovich on Twitter and Instagram.
Please do. She's very responsive. She's a doll. Please do get her merch. Support the Russian Dynamite. Ladies and gentlemen, no tricks, all treats. Happy Hallows Eve. Masha Slamovich. This has been Gorilla Press. Thank you for joining us, and enjoy your Halloween.